The President of the United States has actually threatened that he will blow up power plants and bridges in Iran. This constitutes war crimes. So what are war crimes? Let me try and explain. According to the definition by the UN, war crimes are violations of international humanitarian law whose perpetrators incur individual crimes, criminal responsibility under international law. Consequently, unlike the crimes of genocide and crimes against humanity, war crimes always take place in the context of an armed conflict, whether international or not, and this is according to Article 8 of the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, of course also Geneva Conventions and the Hague Conventions. Now, what exactly are these? Let's take a look at this. There are a number of war crimes, but I want to focus on the one in red because this is what the American president is referring to: attacks on civilians and civilian objects. Let's look at what these actually are. This includes targeting civilians directly, attacking non-military infrastructure, disproportionate attacks causing excessive civilian harm. Now, this is not the first time that the American president has actually threatened these war crimes very specifically. Let's look at his recent posts. On March 22nd, he said, the US will hit and obliterate their various power plants, starting with the biggest ones first. Then later again, on March 30th, he says, we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of the electric generating plants, oil wells and Kharg Island, and possibly all desalination plants. This wasn't enough. Again, 1st of April, we are blasting Iran into oblivion, or, as they say, back to the Stone Age. And then again, on April 4th, 48 hours before, all hell will rain down on them. And then finally, the big, most dangerous threat: Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridges Day. So these are direct threats from the American president, which, as we said very clearly, constitute war crimes. Now, let's take a look at the civilian casualties during this war. And if you look at this graph, this tells a story of tragedy and law of the jungle. In Iran, so far, according to official figures, 2,076 people have been killed. In Lebanon, 1,461. These form the bulk of the civilian casualties, and the countries responsible for them are the United States and Israel. The others, you can see how minimal they are. Now, based on all of this, if we look at the civilian casualties in Gaza, because when we are talking about mass murder, you have to talk about Gaza. And this chart shows you exactly how much. 70,373 innocent civilians murdered by Israel in Gaza, which constitutes genocide. And when we talk of genocide, how can we not talk of this man? If there is anybody who's actually a war criminal in the world, it is this man, Israel's prime minister. In fact, legally speaking, he has been, by the International Criminal Court, he's been charged for war crimes, and his arrests have been issued. The charges are responsible for war crimes of starvation as a method of warfare and of intentionally directing an attack against the civilian population, which constitutes genocide. At this stage, in this conflict, we all hope that the American president realizes that his actions constitute war crime and he desists from them.